Dear Simon and the Esteemed Collective, I wish to report on an episode in my life that will never happen again. I'd been requested to assist in a visit by the Queen Mother to the Cinque-Port of Dover. She was to arrive by helicopter, which was to land in a local school on the cliffs of Dover, and she'd then be transferred to her limo for her drive into town. My involvement is that I was expected to assist in the transfer and ensure the convoy and escort were all parked correctly for a smooth getaway. Why me? Well, I wondered myself, was it because of my time in the forces, where I had regularly protected a helicopter in combat areas during landings? Well, either way, I'd been ordered to dress smartly and report to the stores for my comms. Okay?
For your what? For your comms?
I imagine it's a communication pack.
It's your, it's your headset.
Okay.
All that kind
well
of stuff.
done.
Yes?
Thanks for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just it's an education.
Yeah.
As there was a light rain, on and off, I had dressed in one of my suits and had on a grey calf-length raincoat. I duly turned up at the time requested, signed for my comms pack. There I was, squeaky clean, nice and smart, with an earpiece and curly wire going into my collar and a microphone in my cuff. I looked the biz. I had studied the drawn arrangements for all the personnel to memory, and I made my way to the main gates of the school. As it turns out, I was the first on site, and I was ready for my mission. Some uniformed police arrived and duly took over control of the school gates, refusing to let anyone in without my nod. The school was a military boarding school, but not all the staff lived on site. Thus, as vehicles arrived and were inspected, it was up to me whether they gained access or not. As it turns out, I didn't turn anyone away, as all were staff coming to work. During the next hour or so, more police and specials arrived, all showing their IDs. Outrider escorts and multiple vehicles also arrived. During this time, my superior turned up. At that point, one of the specials turned to the others, pointing at my boss, and said, "Who's this muppet?" He turned up in full combat gear, with his swagger stick under his arm, and was promptly told it was not appropriate dress, and he should leave and not come back. Looks like I was being promoted by default, so check me out. As more of the escort turned up, I duly arranged them into the correct order of march and parked accordingly, pointing out to those carrying arms a hidden area as they could prepare their weapons. So this is...
Wow, this is,
interesting.
Where's
Who
this
knows
going?
where this is going?
Yeah.
As time drew near to the arrival of the helicopter, all the children of the school and staff started to arrive around the area to catch a glimpse of the Queen Mother. The police had sealed the gates and plainclothes staff were in position, while I was standing next to the door of the limo looking at all the spectators, many of whom appeared to be giving me a funny look. Then the noise of a helicopter was heard, and all eyes went to the sky, except mine, that is, because I'd been trained well. I walked up to the nearest plainclothes gent, tapped him on the shoulder to get his attention away from the helicopter and said, "I think all of you know what a helicopter looks like. You should be facing the crowd." This is like Jack Reacher.
Yeah,
that's what this is like.
This is so good.
Looking a bit embarrassed, he spoke into his wrist and faced outwards. I didn't see our royal guest disembark the helicopter that day as I was doing my job. However, when a few minutes later I saw children waving and cheering, I momentarily turned my head. The Queen Mother was no more than 2 feet from me and about to enter the limo, and I would like to believe she gave me a little smile. A few seconds later, the door closed and it was time for the convoy. The police opened the gates and started to mount their vehicles, but I immediately spotted a problem. It was rush hour and the school gate led out onto a public road where traffic passed in both directions at 70 miles an hour, and it was known locally as a notorious black spot. I approached a police commissioner, suggested he put some uniform officers out to stop traffic so the convoy could leave. "Good idea," he replies, and sent out some of the boys in blue. The convoy duly left. Everyone was happy. The same commissioner then came back to me and said, "I don't recognise you. What branch are you from?" I looked straight in his face and replied, "Oh, I'm not one of you. I'm the school caretaker." There you go. And his face went white. Don't think anyone saw that one coming. He's clearly a caretaker with history, though, so he knows what he's doing.
Check him out.
And that's why he was in charge. Let's hear it for the caretakers. Father Simon, I don't seek forgiveness from any of the people present, especially as I helped things run a lot smoother than they might have otherwise. My boss should have dressed more responsibly and not left me in charge, but maybe I do belatedly seek forgiveness from the commissioner, who was clearly aghast that a mere caretaker had been so close to the Queen Mum. Anyway, but it sounds, Norval, or however we should be pronouncing your name, that you were clearly the most appropriate one to be in charge because you knew the school, you had a military background, clearly. That's why you were protecting helicopters, so you were the man for the job, and you dressed appropriately, everything else. Anyway, Sister Bobby, did you see that coming?
I said, no, that is the biggest surprise so far this year, that and the church one. I have to say, Norvell, well done, congratulations. And why shouldn't you actually be in charge? Like you said, you know the school, you know all those children, probably by name, you know all the kind of, you know, the mischievous ones that like to have fun, so you can spot all that coming, and you did your job, and you thought ahead, and you had all the traffic under control as well, and you knew the area. So I don't think you have really anything to be forgiven for.
No, the thing is, he knows how to tell a story as well, doesn't he? Right. So if he put it at the beginning, he was a caretaker. We go, well, it's just a Queen Mum story.
Yeah.
Also, you survived working at a school with all those children. That is worth everything. So you're forgiven on so many counts.
Brother Matthew.
The reason why this works is that my idea is that as soon as he gets that wire that goes from the ear down to the sleeve, as soon as he goes method, he's like, oh yeah, I am taking control. You watch the crowd, Sonny Jim.
We're back to Korea, 1954.
We all know what a helicopter looks like. Stop looking to the skies. I'm in charge, even though I'm the caretaker, like Hong Kong Phooey, a bit. So I am definitely going to forgive, just because he's got into... Which of us can say we've never fantasised about having one of those wires that goes down to, and then talking into your sleeve? Oh, I love all of that. So yes, definitely forgiven.
Is that what you'd like to do?
Oh, we all do, don't we?
Okay.
We all go around going, oh yeah, Charlie Tango, all of that.